Hi, this is very long entry 155, and it's about 1 p.m. CST. I've been contemplating a lot of things because I've been spending a lot of time at home and just enjoying myself and whatnot. And I was kind of just thinking about of a good definition, like a simple definition of what God actually is. And I think I found one, but it's a non-static definition because humans like to provide static definitions of given objects, but God itself is essentially incomprehensible. So basically, um, uh, God is, of course, when you think about God, it's basically the universe and what's beyond human comprehension during that particular time period and whatnot. Of course, since human comprehension is non-static, God must also be non-static as well. And a good definition of God is just a generating function that lies below the current human understanding or current understanding of any system that tries to understand itself. And that's why a lot of people like to believe that we're God as well, because again, it's the definition of God is all and all is God. And when you take a system and you say that's the system that is bound, of course you can think about the generating functions of that given system, but that's beyond what it's kind of irrelevant to think of that because it's impossible for the human mind to encapsulate the recursive nature of God itself. So I mean, it's good to just think of God in an insulated environment, and well, I guess it wouldn't be an insulated environment; it would be outside of that given environment that we're thinking of. But also, God, it tends to be it goes both ways, right? It goes beyond the system and it goes beyond the system in two different ways. There's like the macro scale side outside of it and everything within it, and they both go outside of the system in two different directions. So that's why they say God is all and all is God. Um, I don't know why I was thinking about God because sometimes I think about it and whatnot, and I think of it from a more mechanical perspective. Um, so it's kind of hard. I don't know how I haven't thought about proving it from a symbolic point of view, but through that definition you can prove it symbolically just by the way I've decided to define God and whatnot and its non-static nature. Um, so I mean, essentially, from an atheist perspective, uh, due to the fact that God is non-static, then there's no consistent structure that can define God. Therefore, God is basically um, basically God doesn't exist. But I like to believe that an entity can be defined by being non-static. So um, that's why atheists tend to fight at least the Christian perspective of what God is. I'm not sure about how they fight the more spiritualist definition of what God is. It's easy to debunk, the Christian aspect because it's the definition of God being supposedly static and having these inherent characteristics. But due to the fact that that's easy to debunk from a logical standpoint, that's why the more non-static definition of God is a lot easier to consume logically. So it would be impossible to debunk, and just due to the fact that I've defined it properly to create an insulated logical framework that's consistent with itself and whatnot. So um, I I don't think I'm right. I don't know why I was even thinking about this, but I just thought it was interesting. And spirituality's definition of God is basically what I think of it, but more of an abstracted perspective, what they believe God to be. I guess, what is it, Buddhism that believes in that perspective? I don't know. I don't read into spirituality. I just know of non-duality and all that. Non-duality is essentially the definition of God being all and all being God because everything is interconnected, right? And the whole is the sum of its parts, essentially. So yeah, I don't know. This is very I don't know. That's that's the thing is with the people nowadays is that I don't really complain, but people like to provide more than a million different examples of something that supports it, even though you could just create a logical system that expresses that idea in one go without having to go parse through all of the different potential manifestations of it. It can help sometimes, but sometimes it's like it's kind of silly to do, and it's a waste of brain power and energy, right? Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I've been looking at a bunch of random videos, and there were a few things that kind of made me think about it. And there was this person on YouTube that was talking about like what Deus Ex Machina or whatever, which is God being created from machine and everything. But I don't know. It's just like they're just a lot of examples and manifestations of a particular idea. I don't know. People get lost. I mean, I get lost in the forest as well, so I can understand why people get confused about certain things and why they have to have elaborate conversations of what God is, and they tend to like just smash each other in the face with misconstruing the actual definition of what a particular. I mean, you see it everywhere, so it's just I guess human nature to do that, and it's hard to get outside of your ego because most people tend to argue just to be right, and they don't really like to argue from a more objective point of view. So that's why I usually don't like debating, because most of the time it's irrelevant and they throw a lot of logical fallacies at you, expecting you to fall for the trap to begin with, and it just seems like a waste of energy and time. And I think debating can be useful as long as you are debating with the right people and they have the same objective in mind, which is actually not necessarily winning, but actually getting to a new idea or standpoint or perspective of something that hasn't necessarily been thought of before. And so I like those kinds of debates and whatnot, but I don't see a lot of people that are actually humble enough to go through that process, and I mean, it just doesn't seem like a lot of people like doing that, which is fine. They can have fun with their debating. I wouldn't even call that debating, but whatever. It's more arguing than debating, I guess. But yeah, I don't know. So that was just like a random thought dump, without me necessarily explaining it as well as I could. But then that would require me to actually structure my videos to actually share thoughts that I consider to be important. But again, I'm a little bit selfish, and I just tend to spew out random thoughts in my head just to help myself understand them more, as opposed to helping people. And I mean, it is what it is, and I'm sure a lot of people do understand what I'm trying to say. It's just, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I don't know, like, if anybody is actually interested in me making more structured videos, then I can do it. I can invest my time in making videos like that, but, it's only if anybody else is interested. I don't know if, I guess I would have to actually put an effort into doing it to begin with, just to feed into the algorithm to then see if anybody's interested in the stuff that I'm interested in, and then I can gain some kind of crowdfunding. I call it crowdfunding, where get a bunch of people to like a Patreon is a crowdfunding, right? So I guess I would actually have to experiment with that as opposed to just thinking about it all the time. I don't know. Yeah, I'm a big fan of lateral thinking. I think lateral thinking is my favorite form of thinking. I guess the other, what is it, lateral versus linear thinking? Because lateral is kind of like generating new ideas, whereas linear thinking is still like an idea basis. You could be working off of a recycled idea, but you're also creating new ideas off of that idea. I guess that's more linear, whereas you're kind of like creating more axioms from lateral thinking, and I tend to go this way as opposed to this way. I can go this way if I have to. I mean, I've done that, working on getting a degree in math. I never finished it, but even like higher level mathematics is more lateral than linear, because computers are good at linear, so might as well get computers through the linear as opposed to the lateral formation of thinking. So a lot faster and more reliable than humans doing linear processing and whatnot. So that's where this world is going to, be more creative, I guess. I don't know. I don't even like thinking about AI. I try not to, I mean, I don't really have a good reason to think about it right now because I'm just so focused on my own life, and I don't know. I was thinking about getting a job in artificial intelligence, but then I'd actually have to put effort into that too. So Um, I don't know. I've just been kind of not really in the dumps, just a little bit tired, I guess. I told myself I'd be taking these next few days off for myself because I've been very monotone and haven't really necessarily been excited about a lot of things. And my head's running, but I'm not getting any kind of like emotional excitement out of anything right now. So I have to feed it externally to get some kind of fuel for my mind to actually do things and whatnot. So I think that's just my mind telling me that it's tired right now. So I'm giving it some time to rest. Trying to, at least. Every time I'm awake, it doesn't stop. It's just like I have to take naps to recharge my batteries because when my eyes are open, my head is running. It's just I have to take naps because that's how I shut my brain off. But I even then, it's still running. I don't really have dreams, but I can see a lot of hazy stuff, and you can kind of tell that it's, yeah, I don't know. I feel like my brain doesn't fully shut off even when I'm sleeping, which is annoying, but it's kind of, I don't know. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I mean, I'm probably gonna relax and not think about God because God makes my brain hurty. Um, I don't know. What else is there to think about right now? Not much. Not much. I mean, there is, but I don't feel like thinking about certain things. Yeah. Um, yeah. I mean, I'm still working on that abstraction I was talking about yesterday. Well, I didn't really do that. I kind of left it there, but it's on my board, so I'll work on it when I feel like it. Um, and then I'm probably going to, yeah, just take it easy. It's, I guess, what is it, Christmas Eve? Yeah, it is Christmas Eve. So, anyways, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye.